Hey everybody, welcome back to Inside the Five. It's Stav.
It's Will.
And it's Griff.
And today, it's all NBA. We have the All-Star break coming up. We're going to give our first half review. We're going to talk about some teams we expect to jump up in the standings, some teams to kind of stay where they are, and some teams are going to fall. We're going to talk all about that. We're going to give you our first half MVP. And we have some breaking news in the world of our Boston Celtics. So boys, what do you say?
Let's do it.
Welcome back to Inside the Five. And as of this morning, the morning of this recording, we had some breaking news in the world of our Boston Celtics. Head coach Joe Mazzulla is now head coach Joe Mazzulla. He's no longer interim head coach. He has taken the job as the head coach of the Boston Celtics, the 19th coach in franchise history. And honestly, as of today, this is a genius move, and it is very well deserved.
Will?
Agreed. I mean, I was going to say finally it's done. I mean, I think we've been waiting for this for, I'd say a good amount of time, especially since the start that we had this season. I thought we were going to do it quicker, but I'm happy halfway through the season we decided to make that move. I think it's the right move, and that's my coach.
Yeah, this past season, Danny Ainge tried to steal Coach Joe, bring him to Utah, and I think that proved a lot towards the trust that Brad has in him. And that's really all that matters, upper management with Grossbeck as well. But it just makes sense at this point in time, 42-17 going into All-Star break. And
the best team
I
in the
really
NBA.
don't think but exactly best team in the NBA. I don't really think there's any slowing us down. And I think that Coach Joe has great command of the locker room and just watching him. I mean, watching every other day, Scal interviews him for a quick minute. They have a little chat. I just feel like he's like a good guy. I feel like he fits the parameters of being the head coach of the Boston Celtics, and he does it with pride. And he's very almost a perfect coach in my opinion. He has the grasp of the players. He answers questions. How do I want to word this? He answers questions like politically correct, right? But you still know that there's like a sense of humor to him, that he's light on his feet, but he gets the job done. He's been getting the job done all season. And he earned it. I mean, he's keeping his name out of the negative spotlight through the first half of the season. And I mean, farewell, Coach Ime. I guess there's got to be new beginnings for him.
Well, this was a no-brainer in my opinion. I mean, not only with the success that the Celtics have had up to this point, success aside, I'm talking about politically as well. I mean, hypothetically, they didn't make this move, right? And you start next year not knowing who's the head coach, even though you have two very worthy candidates, right? Like, there was always that overlooming question, what's going to happen with Ime Udoka after this year, right? Like, are the Celtics going to go back to Ime? Are they going to stick with Mazzulla? There was an overlooming thing that it wasn't really talked about too much, but it was there. It was definitely there. And now there's no more questions, right? I think Mazzulla's coaching the All-Star team. I think he's coaching Team Giannis. Yep. I could be wrong.
Yep.
No, he is. And it just gives him another chance to really solidify himself as one of the coaches in the NBA. And if the Celtics continue to win on this pace, they're almost on pace to win 60 games. He's going to win Coach of the Year. And you cannot move on from a Coach of the Year like that. So this is a great move. I'm happy. There's no confusion within this organization right now. They know who's the coach.
Shout out Dwayne Casey of the Raptors, who did win Coach of the Year and then get fired. But no, you're right. I mean, I think that he's well on his way to his first Coach of the Year. I think he's on his way to his first finals appearance. And you're right. After the season, you don't want to have to go through the whole debate and make the wrong decision. You just got to get the job done now. And just to extend him after the first half of the season is well-deserved. It's just the fact that, I feel like this 1 year trial period was kind of like a thing that if he wasn't going to end up staying here, he was going to be the head coach of another NBA team, right? So I think he's a top-tier coach in the NBA, and he's just at the beginning of it. So why not, let him ride throughout the rest of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown's career? Like, I don't see why that's not what's in the plan for Brad Stevens and Wyc Grousbeck going forward. I think that we have a different sense of security with this guy than we did with Ime, than we've had with Brad Stevens, because I feel like for years Brad Stevens was, going up into upper management instead of coaching. That was in talks like for a minute. I just feel like Coach Joe's here to stay. I feel good. I feel secure with this head coach. It's a good feeling.
It is. I mean, it's good for the future.
Now. With that being said, like we stated, the Celtics are the 1 seed in the East. They are the best team in the NBA record-wise. Let's talk about the rest of the league, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, going standing by standings, the teams that are in the playoffs as of right now, not including the play-in, we'll get to that. In the East, Celtics, Bucks, 76ers, Cavaliers, Nets, Knicks. Now, which teams out of those top 6 do you guys expect to kind of rise within those top 6 or fall out of the top 6?
I would say the Nets. I think the Nets are on the rise again. I think getting rid of Kyrie and KD was a good move for their future. One, they're going to get some picks in return, obviously. But I think their new acquisitions are going to play well for them. They already started off, bad journalism, but
Mikal Bridges had 45.
Mikal Bridges had dropped 45. I mean, they're going to go out there and hoop, and you can't ask them to do much more. They're fighting for their playing spots. They got a select group of guys that like playing basketball, so they're going to be good. I expect them to move up in the rankings in the second half.
Yeah, and I mean, looking at a team that I could see maybe take a slide out of this is the New York Knicks, and even though that they've been playing quite well the first half of the season, I just don't think that there's any inner culture there. And I feel like the trade deadline showed that with moving on from players. And I don't think RJ Barrett's, fit into any sort of role there. They're running with Jericho Sims at the 5 now, with Mitchell Robinson out. And I mean, Jericho Sims, I guess we'll talk about him in a little bit, dunk contest participant. But other than Brunson and Julius Randle and, Emmanuel Quickley, who comes off the bench, I don't really like anybody on this team. I think that Quentin Grimes stinks. He can shoot the 3 ball a little bit, but he stinks. RJ Barrett, like I said, just isn't doing what he's, was drafted with the 3rd overall pick to do. And Jericho Sims, until Mitchell Robinson is back, is terrible. So I'm not a big fan of the Knicks, and I agree with you, Will, on your terms with the Nets. I think that just the fact that they're already up there in the standings helps them a lot, and it's a team that will gel easy because they're all around the same age. They're going to be a fun, young, exciting team to watch.
Well, 100%. You guys said it perfectly, and they have a culture now, right? Like when we think of the Brooklyn Nets, we stated this last episode on the trade deadline. This team kind of reminded us of the 2019 Nets when they had D'Angelo Russell and Karis LeVert and guys like that, who they were fun, they were young, and they were exciting. They had a culture. Fans wanted to be there to support this team. They were easy to root for, and they kind of switched up their entire philosophy of their franchise. And it's good to see them go back to this before it was too late. And we've seen up to this point, it works, right? I mean, they won last night against the Heat when Mikal Bridges just went off. Right. Mm-hmm. And the rest of these guys, they're competing. They want to be in Brooklyn. Okay. And they've been doing a great job, especially like the role players that are involved in this. I mean, you can consider all these guys role players, but guys like Cam Johnson are supporting their teammates. Even then, when guys are inactive, they're still up on the sidelines. They're still cheering on their teammates. We didn't see that before. We didn't see that when Kyrie and KD were there. It kind of looked like they were lifeless. And it's honestly a lot of fun to watch. I mean, looking through the box score right now, you had everybody was scoring yesterday. I mean, Cam Thomas off the bench had 19 points, who shout of the year, to be honest. I said I was buying stock in Cam Thomas. My profits are through the roof right now with him. And you even got guys like we said, Royce O'Neal. Joe Harris has found a stroke from 3-point range. Ben Simmons offensively we know what he is right now, scoring the basketball, but he's still dishing it out. He's still getting rebounds. He's not turning the ball over. Claxton's doing his thing on the glass. Like Dinwiddie's being a good veteran presence in this locker room. This team just seems as if they're primed to be in that category of NBA teams that you don't want to face come the first round. And if the season ended today, they would probably face, I think Cleveland. Cleveland's the 4th seed. And see, I don't know who would win that. I think that's a very even matchup as of right now. And the depth of Brooklyn scares me if I have to face them in the first round of the playoffs.
No, you're very right. And just looking kind of at that like inner chunk of playoff teams where you go kind of 3 through 7. You got the Sixers, the Cavs, the Nets, and then the Knicks and the Heat. You give me 3 through 5 right there, I'm scared to play. I mean, honestly, any of those teams because, like you said, the Nets are honestly just playing with all heart. The Cavs are a team that, started the season, it was like we were thinking the Celtics were going to be 1 and the Cavs were going to be 2 and the Bucks were going to be 3, right? When the Cavs started off so hot with Donovan Mitchell a couple weeks into the season, they're still floating around there and they're still a dangerous team and they're a force to be reckoned with. When you can get those 2 guards hot, that's one of the best backcourts in the NBA. And obviously Philadelphia, even after losing Matisse Thybulle, I don't think that they got much better off the trade deadline, or at least in my opinion. But you still have Joel Embiid, right? And they're still locked in at that 3 seed. There's not a lot of room for them to slip down just due to, different teams. I mean, just the eye test looking at who's better than who. Philadelphia is going to stay in that top half of the playoffs. And going through that little chunk, it shows how important it is for the Celtics to be the 1 seed right now.
And, I mean, we kind of we obviously talked about Missoula and how the Celtics are good, but let's talk about why the Celtics are good right now, right? I mean, as of right now, I don't see them falling out of that first seed. If anything, maybe Milwaukee overtakes them just because of strength of schedule or whatever. We'll do our second half preview later. But up to this point, the Celtics bench has surprised me tremendously, right? By bench, I mean guys who are not Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. As of late, Derek White's been playing like an all-star. As of the last month and a half, probably, he's been playing
Eastern Conference Player of the Week.
Yes. And with the recent acquisition, we kind of threw this under the radar, but Mike Muscala has been playing tremendously as well. I didn't realize how good of a shooter he was. And when he stepped into the system, he didn't take a step back at all, right? And all the guys who get their number called, they produce. I mean, the loss against Milwaukee on Monday night, was it? Monday?
Yes.
No, it was Tuesday night. They lost to Milwaukee. But to be honest, that's all I needed to say. I mean, Milwaukee's insane at home. I think they're 25-6 at home. And this Celtics team, who rolled out a starting lineup of Derek White, Sam Hauser, Grant Williams, Blake Griffin, and Mike Muscala, took them to overtime and almost won this game. I mean, Brogdon off the bench had 26 points that night. Derek White had 27. Muscala had 18. Sam Hauser had 15. Grant Williams had 12. Blake Griffin had 15. You were getting contributions from everybody. And just as a side note, too, I think this is pretty apparent. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Al Horford did not play in this game. Neither did Marcus Smart. That's 4 out of your 5 starters come playoff time did not play against the number 2 team in the East. And we hung with them for the entire game up until overtime where they kind of overtook, but we still had a chance to win.
And you know what? Not only did they do that against the number 2 team in the East, but some people are saying the hottest team currently in the league and a team that people were thinking, going into this game specifically, they're off 10 straight wins and teams that they've beaten. They beat the Clippers twice. They beat the Lakers. They beat the Blazers, and Dame's been pretty hot throughout that run. They beat the Nuggets towards the beginning of that run. You're looking at this Milwaukee surge and a team that's now only 1 game behind Boston now it depends on their game tonight as well. Milwaukee's playing, Boston shut down, but this is a team that's at their best. They're off 10 games, 10 straight wins. Now they made it 11 against Boston, but throughout that whole 11-game span, the toughest they've been played was against Boston, and it was against Boston, like you said, without 4 out of their 5 starters. Now, this is the second best team in the conference, the hottest that they've been all season, and they almost lost to our bench. It's a very good sign, and everybody hates the term it's a good loss, but, I mean, that's as good as you can get in terms of a game where you end in with the losing team. I mean, it was a great performance by every single person on that bench, and a shout out that I've been wanting to give for the past week and a half after somebody who's been slacking off after the beginning of the season is Sam Hauser. I feel like he's been kind of resurrected with his role as the starting shooting guard now that Jaylen Brown has been out. He's been starting on like, I mean, pretty much every single night since JB has been out. He's been shooting the ball very efficiently. His defense has been kind of lackluster, but he's getting the job done. He's shooting the 3 ball very efficiently, and he's scoring. Like he's actually putting together good quality offensive possessions with that team out there. They're moving the ball like they've never moved the ball before, and Coach Joe has them locked in. And it was great to get a win against Detroit last night. A team that, remember, last year had our number. This year we completed the season sweep of them, and just kind of good to get that momentum going into All-Star break, making sure that we go into All-Star break off a win so we can carry on. Post.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, this Celtics team, obviously best in the NBA. I mean, looking at this first half of the season, I mean, like, can't be mad. I mean, excited for the second half, see where we go. I mean, obviously, like I think you said, Stav, can't really see anyone else but maybe the Bucks due to strength of schedule, but obviously we're going to get to that, possibly taking us over. But, I mean, we're on a roll. When guys are hurt, guys are stepping up. When we're fully healthy, we're the best. Like, it can't be in a better predicament going into the All-Star break.
Yeah, I mean, quite literally as the best team in the NBA, but a team who's literally one game out of that best team in the NBA spot. Let's switch to the Western Conference and talk about the Denver Nuggets. Nikola Jokic is my first half MVP. I know we said we'll kind of make this a separate segment, but I really don't see much argument, to be honest. He's averaging a triple-double, which is something a big man hasn't done in NBA history, I don't think. Just an unreal team as of right now. But when you look at their depth, when I compare first in the East, first in the West, this Nuggets team isn't that deep. In my opinion, personally, they made some moves to achieve depth. They got Thomas Bryant, but I'll never understand Jamal Murray, to be honest. Jamal Murray had an insane bubble. He earned a big contract, and he just hasn't been in the news. He just doesn't play. No, I don't know how many games he's played this season, but I feel like every time I look at the Nuggets injury report, he just doesn't play.
Yeah, and just going based off this team, they need him, and they need him to do what he was doing post-injury and in the bubble and post-Instagram story. Shout out Jamal Murray as well. He needs to step it up. He's not like, you're right. He's played 45 games, so it's not like he's missed like every single game. He's out there, he's playing, he's averaging 20 points a game. And Jokic averaging a 25-point triple-double is really what's keeping them afloat. I don't think that he's going to continue doing this. Stav, you're right on the nose. First half MVP for sure. I think that he's going to finish off the season with the MVP award, but to ask somebody to carry on a 25-point triple-double average throughout the course of a whole regular season and throughout the course of 16 wins after that, it's almost an impossible task. And this team, like you said, with their depth especially, I don't see really anybody special coming off their bench. I like Christian Brown, who we know obviously from Kansas last year. Good wing. Thomas Bryant, like you said, I mean, all Thomas Bryant did when he was in LA was disappoint people. You know, when he was in Washington, people thought he was going to be a starting center at some point, and he hasn't turned into that. Bruce Brown, obviously, Mass native, he sucks, and he was so bad on the Nets. Like, this team isn't good, and I'm glad that we're talking about the Western Conference. We don't talk about the West that often. Looking at the West in general, I'm going to say it right now, I am not scared of anybody. Superstars got sent to the West, and I feel like they got sent to, destroy it. Dallas is sitting at 7. Phoenix is sitting at 4. I can see Phoenix losing. I see Golden State moving up. I'm not scared of Denver. The Clippers, in my opinion, are the best team in the West.
Yeah, I mean, you said it right. Everyone's talking about how the West is the best conference. I don't think so. You go pound for pound, top 6 in the East and top 6 in the West. I'm taking the top 6 in the East pretty much every time. I mean, certain teams are better than certain teams, but you go 1 versus 1, 2 versus 2, 3 versus 3. Are you telling me the Philadelphia 76ers aren't better than the Sacramento Kings? Are you telling me that the Bucks, who's better, the Bucks or the Grizzlies? Like, you know what? It doesn't make much sense to me. And this Suns team hasn't proven anything. They haven't been healthy yet, so I don't care about the expectations. We haven't seen them all play together. And I'm taking the Cavs over the Suns right now. I'm probably taking the Clippers over the Nets, but who are you taking? The Knicks or the Timberwolves? That's just a battle of the mid, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's just Anthony Edwards like going out there and doing every single thing possible. But shout out Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards has been balling this season.
He's a dog. He's a dog.
Cat's been out. Cat's been out.
And they don't have a point guard now. They traded D'Angelo Russell.
The whole theme of the West is just teams without depth, and then there's like two teams there in the middle of the standings who are like good, but they just play a lot of the Eastern Conference teams, or they're just getting unlucky on nights with injuries. The West is just injury ridden without depth, and then there's like stars floating around here and there.
Like, no, you're right, and I'd be scared of the Clippers. I'd be scared of the Warriors, even though they're at the 9. And a team I'd look out for going down the stretch, and they're not even in the playoff picture right now, is Utah. I think that Utah is one of the deepest teams in the West. And, they just don't have that star power, but they have a team that could play 48 minutes every single night, and they can just rotate guys in and out. There's a lot of depth in the East, in Boston and Milwaukee picking up Jay Crowder, and Cleveland and Brooklyn at this point too. The Nuggets top heavy. The Grizzlies are I'm going to say my first half frauds. At the 2 seed, they'll obviously be in the playoffs. They could even be the 3 or the 4 seed in the playoffs, top half. But I think no matter what, I don't see the Grizzlies making it out of the Western Conference semifinals. I just don't think there's a chance.
Let's go record for record too. The 2 seed in the West right now will be the 5th seed in the East.
Yeah.
So let's put the strength of conferences like that. The team who, I mean, the number 1 team in the West would be competing for the number 2 seed in the East. They wouldn't even be a surefire. So we'll look right now. We'll talk about the play-in teams a little bit too. I can see Dallas kind of just making that jump just because they have the star power, even though that really hasn't impressed me as of this point. It doesn't look like, let me rephrase this. As of right now, the Dallas Mavericks look as what we thought they would look like. With
exactly what we thought. Exactly what we thought.
Yeah. They don't know what to do, essentially. It's not like Luka's a playmaker, but he's a ball-dominant playmaker, right? He's not like a Chris Paul. He needs to score to be a playmaker.
Well, the perfect example of this was their game Monday, where we literally said it's like, okay, put up 120, and the other team's going to put up like 140. They lost 124 to 121 to the Timberwolves off Anthony Edwards scoring 32, but Kyrie scored 36. Luka scored 33. Other than that, there wasn't a starter that scored over 10 points. Christian Wood off the bench scored 24, and literally nobody else scored. Nobody else scored. And it was a game where 2 players combined for 70 points.
Yeah, nobody else on that roster can score. They do not have the ability to score the basket in the NBA. I mean, I'm just thinking to myself, who's that number 4 guy? Like, if we want to talk, every team in the NBA, in my opinion, has like 4 dudes that can go out and get you a bucket, right? I mean, when I say every team, I mean every good team, right? Teams that we consider that they can compete. And right now, the Dallas Mavericks, people think they're a team that should compete, but going down their depth chart right now, you got Luka, Kyrie, Tim Hardaway Jr., Josh Green, and Dwight Powell as their starting 5, Christian Wood off the bench. But like, do you trust any of these guys to, other than Kyrie, Luka, and Christian Wood on the offensive end? I'm talking. I haven't even talked about their defense yet because we know how atrocious they are. But you trust, all right, Josh Green, go out there and give me 15. Fuck no, you don't. Dwight Powell, do something else besides get me 6 rebounds. No, you don't trust it, because 5 minutes into the game, Christian Wood's going into the game because he's the better center. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't make any sense to me what this team is doing. And Justin Holiday he's their backup 2 and 3, and he averages 4.5 points a game.
And he has 3 brothers. He is the worst brother out of the Holiday brothers.
Yeah, I mean, they'll appreciate Davis Bertans coming back, because that's another depth piece. That's a guy who will get you like 10 to 15 points a night on a decent shooting night.
He goaded on the Celtics.
Yeah, exactly. That'd be awesome. But Reggie Bullock, I think he sucks. I think he's actually
Reggie Bullock sucks.
Yeah, after his playoff disappointment, all he does is, what does he do? He misses. That's literally what he does. So this Mavericks team does not concern me at all. And the Dallas Mavericks screwed up their future, because Kyrie's going to walk in free agency. There is a 0% chance he resigns.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, just to kind of look at a couple other teams in the West to kind of shout them out, the Pelicans sitting at 8. I could see them, fully healthy coming off All-Star break. I could see them rocketing up. I could see Oklahoma City catching a couple more wins. I could see Oklahoma City in the play-in for sure. Portland in the play-in. It's just, obviously we'll go more in depth about it on the next episode, but just looking out from the first half of the season, I really wasn't impressed by any Western Conference teams. And the team that, has caught our eyes in past years is the Golden State Warriors, who I'm guessing are going to be in for a big second half of the season. But I'm glad the way the Western Conference looks right now. I'd rather get through a gauntlet of the East and then have to play a team like fucking Phoenix in the finals. And I'm sorry for being vulgar, but it's like, what are these teams doing around these areas? Like, they have no business being here. I don't know what's wrong with the distribution of the NBA right now.
How I look at it right now, we might be spoiled as Celtics fans in the brand of basketball that we watch with how deep this team is and how good our bench
full bench.
Yeah. So it's like maybe we are spoiled and maybe we're just trying to compare everyone to the Celtics when the Celtics are damn well the best team in the league for a reason, right? It's one of those things where it's like I don't want to keep – if you compare the best to the worst, essentially how we're doing it, obviously there's going to be a big gap, but – when it comes down to playoffs, these teams are going to be facing off with each other. And how do these teams stack up against each other is what we're trying to compare. So no one really – I mean, the Lakers kind of looked good last night against the Pelicans, but at the same time, the Pelicans were missing half their team. So it's like the Lakers are sitting below 500 right now. And they're literally the 13th seed out West. So
it literally just explains everything we've just said. He's like, the Lakers look good, but they played against half of the Pelicans roster. That's like every night in the Western Conference.
Yeah, it doesn't. Everyone keeps saying, oh, the West is back. Why? Like, just because Kevin Durant went to the West doesn't mean that they're a powerhouse now. It just made the East really more competitive in the middle pack.
Yeah, no, exactly. And it weirdly, like, I don't want to say it made it worse. So I guess the terminology I'll use for the Western Conference, KD and Kyrie like hindered the Western Conference. Like they're not. There's no reason for them to be there. And it's like if Dallas had Luka, they'd make the Western Conference Finals, and it would be a fun team. They'd probably lose to whoever goes on a crazy run in the second half of the season. But now it's like there's going to be issues. There's too many superstars on this team. There's too many superstars on the Suns. The only teams that we've seen that have clicked with like a bunch of superstars were those Warriors teams, but that was because of coaching. And once again, I've been talking about the Golden State Warriors. That coach is still there.
I don't of key players like on the team other than their stars. Like that's
exactly like they have other people, and Memphis does not. Sacramento's one of the deepest teams in the Western Conference, and they're the 3 seed right now. And I mean, we can almost guarantee that they're not going to finish the season in the 3 seed. They're the Sacramento Kings. Like they suck. They're the Sacramento Kings. I like the Kings. I voted Kevin Huerter for All-Star before he fell off, but they're not good. The Timberwolves with Cat back, maybe, I don't know, but just like looking at this team or looking at this conference, it's just I feel like it's like watching SEC football versus watching the Sun Belt. In that the Eastern Conference is the SEC, just because every single night, like we played the Pistons last night, and I was excited to watch. I'm excited to watch these games. I have NBA League Pass. I never watch Western Conference games. I watch Eastern Conference basketball.
Yeah, there's a clear difference in the talent, in my opinion, in the brand of basketball.
It's like the brand, yeah.
It's so different. Like, this might sound stupid to say, but like teams like the Atlanta Hawks, I consider them more of a Western Conference team, right? Like just a team that's annoying to watch. They're just going to huck up half-court threes. 1 out of every 5 is going to go in. I think Trae Young is very overrated. I don't think that there's a reason why this Hawks team is stuck in the 8th seed and stuck in the play-in tournament every single year, ever since they went on that run. And you could consider that a fluke run because they never really had to go on the road.
Oh, that was a fluke run. That was officially a fluke.
And what they got DeJounte Murray, and now all of a sudden DeJounte Murray's acting like a punk and like trying to – that's not who he was in San Antonio, and that's not how he got to the spot he is in today. And when the Knicks route you as the Hawks, and the Hawks are known to dominate the Knicks and all this stuff, well, you just got bitched at home by the Knicks. That's your team that you're supposed to own, and you just got dominated by 21 points. And there's a lot of teams like that in the NBA. I mean, I'm just saying the Hawks. I think the Wizards are like that. The Chicago Bulls, who are out of the play-in tournament as of right now, that's the biggest disappointment that you'll see all season. And it's bad to watch. And another team that's like that is the Lakers, right? I mean, I bet on the Lakers last night, and I was just watching them play. It's such a bad brand of basketball, but it's better than what it was before the trade deadline. But it's just ugly, right? I can't count on my two hands how many times they got a defensive rebound and tried to just start a fast break when there was no fast break to be started. They just throw it up when Anthony Davis wasn't looking at the middle of the court. He would catch it, almost travel, throw it to Austin Reeves, who would try to throw a lob to like Mo Bamba, who would completely miss it. And it's like, why is this team trying to be the Showtime Lakers? You're 5 games under 500. Worry about making the play-in game before you start doing all this flashy shit.
Yeah, and I feel like that's always been the thing with the Lakers. Like, even when it was like, do you remember the team like Lonzo, D'Lo towards the end, Kuzma? I feel like they were trying to like do like, we call it hot dog business. It's just like fucking around. Like that, you're not Magic Johnson. Like, you're not Magic Johnson throwing the ball to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Like, this isn't the Lakers of the past. I feel like no matter what, and LeBron does the same stuff. It's like, it's all for the show. It's all for the cameras. It's all for the lights. And that's why right now the Clippers are succeeding, because they're an LA team that, I mean, people, you could argue, aren't owned by LA. Like, LA is notoriously known for the Lakers. That's their thing. They've won 17. They've won 8 championships in LA. And you know, that's the team, and they don't keep their head down. They're all for the publicity. They're there to make the money. That's what they're doing. I do think the Lakers are going to go better. But I mean, it's just that point. I mean, the Western Conference is kind of like the And One mixtape. It's just, you're out there trying to make like highlights, trying to get clips, trying to get things for social media to go viral, and then you get to the Eastern Conference and it's Jason Tatum kicking your fucking teeth in. I mean, there's a big difference. There's a different brand of physicality. There's a different brand of, you know, the way they go about playing basketball. And I just feel like it's obvious. And obviously I'm not like right. I'm just joking around. Like, everybody is giving it 110%, and these are professional athletes. But I feel like some people just have different focuses when you're a professional athlete. In the Lakers, whenever you're a Los Angeles Laker, your main focus is never winning. It's always, oh, I'm in LA.
Yeah. I guess that kind of does it for the first half preview. Yeah. Let's hop into the All-Star break, boys. This is a new format completely, right? We've seen a lot of shakeups in the All-Star game of the last probably 6 years. And we'll start with All-Star Saturday night, you know, the showcase of talent in the NBA. Well, what's supposed to be the showcase of talent. We'll get into the dunk contest soon. But All-Star Saturday night kicks off in Salt Lake City, Utah. That's where the All-Star is. And we have the skills challenge, right? And this year, we have Team Antetokounmpo with Alex Antetokounmpo, Giannis, and Thanasis. All right, 2 mid players and someone who plays football on a basketball court. You have the rookie team of Paolo Banchero, Jaden Ivey, and Jabari Smith. And you have Team Jazz supporting the hometown team, like last year they did the Team Cavs. You have Jordan,
I don't mind that one. I like that one.
Yeah, that's fine. I like Sexton, Jordan Clarkson, and Walker Kessler. But what confuses me about this, why isn't Lauri Markkanen doing this?
Why is it not Lauri Markkanen instead of Walker Kessler? Walker Kessler, Auburn alum, like, was awesome at Auburn, a 3-and-D 7-footer. It's like he can stretch the court out. He's a great player, and he's been starting for them. But Lauri Markkanen is like the same thing, just more athletic, and people know him more. Yeah, and he's also and he's an all-star. Like, I don't know. It's just, I mean, I feel like the NBA, I feel like professional sports leagues in general just can't get it right anymore. And There's no reason to have Team Antetokounmpo 2 years in a row. I get it. The reason that they do it is to increase their viewership among like overseas, but it doesn't make sense. Just do like a team overseas where you're grasping more of a reach instead of people that are from Greek and Nigerian descent. I mean, like you get Luka on it, you get Kristaps on it, you get some Europeans on it, you get people from Asian descent, people from African descent. If you want to get viewership, right? But why are you going Team Antetokounmpo every single year? Alex Antetokounmpo has never played like in the NBA. Why does he just keep getting free tickets to All-Star Weekend every fucking year?
You know, it makes no sense to me. But how I would do it if I was the NBA, I would do Team USA, Team World, and like Team Rising Stars, right? Mm-hmm. So you could do rookies and for second-year players. You can do top 3 from USA and 3 international players. So like you said for the international, you could do Luka, Embiid, and Giannis, right? Just three different players from 3 different parts of the world. And then in the USA, you could do you pick 3 all-stars, right? You could do Kyrie, Jason Tatum, and LeBron. And then for the Young Bucks, you pretty much do the same thing with the team rookie. You do Paolo, Jaden Ivory, and Jabari Smith. I think that would be a lot of fun to watch, and it would really give us a chance to see some of these guys doing the competition at the highest level with all the eyes on them, right? Mm-hmm. So you can get – because right now there's no hype around rookies other than Paolo Banchero. There's zero hype around rookies. And
Paolo stinks too.
And a casual NBA fan doesn't know the top 5 players in the rookie class. I barely know the top 5 rookies right now. So giving them – like when you get the stars to compete in the skills challenge, and the skills challenge isn't going to get you hurt. It's not going to mess up your shot or anything. It's a fun thing to do. And if you get the stars to compete against the stars, to compete against the next generation of NBA players, essentially, then you're going to get a lot more viewership than you would when you have the Team Antetokounmpos with 2 G League players and Giannis, the Jazz without their actual all-star. I mean, and then team rookies, which is fine.
Could even have a 4th team and do the same thing they're doing with like Team Utah Jazz.
Yeah.
And we've seen superstars do this before. Like, I mean, Giannis is in it right now. We've seen Dwayne Wade do this. We've seen Jason Tatum do this. Like, we've seen Kat do it. I feel like Jokic has done it. Remember when they used to do guards versus bigs? Like, we've seen different formats that I feel like have been a lot better and a lot more successful than this one. The old school format, I remember there was like a year where it was just like you had to be an all-star to participate in it, and there was like 6 of them, and they just did like 1v1 tournament. It was like Dwayne Wade, Darren Williams, like a bunch of those names from the 2000s, and it was a lot of fun. Like those are the memories that like people have from that, is when you get to see some of your favorite players on different teams, or even your favorite team, do these fun little things that aren't just straight up basketball. And it just goes back to my point, and I hate to keep saying the same name, but like I don't care about watching Alex Antetokounmpo run and do between the legs where there's little like figures in front of him. Like I don't see there being any reason. I like the rookie team. I hate the Antetokounmpo team, like I already said. But you know, there's just the rising star, or not the rising stars, excuse me, the skills challenge for like a few years span. That was the best part of Saturday night, because the 3-point contest has been boring for years, and we all know about the dunk contest. And I feel like the skills challenge is getting watered down too.
Yeah, I mean, it's
a watered down event. All days. The whole day is just a watered down day.
Well, I think the 3-point contest should replace the headline, right? Just based off of not only the where the NBA is trending, but just based off of hype of the event in competition. You know, you look at it, the 3-point contest has the best players in it. And I'm excited to talk about this, because let's go through the 3-point contest. I mean, do you guys want to make predictions for the skills challenge? I don't care. Team Jazz, congrats.
You take Team Jazz?
Sure.
Okay, Will, you're Greek. You take Team Antetokounmpo. I'll be Team Rooks.
Yeah, and the winner gets Will's credit card. Next, we have the 3-point contest. Starting off, I mean, this has the best players, the most stars in this event. I'm excited for this, to be honest. And We'll start. I'm going through the list that I'm looking at right now. Here are the participants: Tyrese Halliburton, Tyler Hero, Buddy Hield, Kevin Huerter, Damian Lillard, Lauri Markkanen, Julius Randle, which is so random. He's like shooting 30% from three. He's replacing Anthony Simons, and we have Jason Tatum from our Boston Celtics. This is fun. I'm excited to watch this. There's a lot of good shooters here, but I think this is I think this is Buddy Hield's event to win.
Buddy Hield.
You know, he set the Indiana Pacers single season 3-point record at All-Star break.
Did he really? He's been bugging this year?
He's on pace to beat Steph Curry's 3-point record for one season. Yeah.
I mean, he is like the best player on that team right now. Like they have
Tyrese.
What's his name? What's his name is starting for that team on the Aaron Nesmith. Yeah, Aaron Nesmith is starting for them. So it's like,
well, Tyrese
was
Buddy an all-star.
Oh well, yeah. Sorry, but I mean, Buddy Hield is like the best scorer on that team still.
Yeah.
So it's like I guess, and if we're talking about who's going to win this, I just want to straight up say it's not going to be Jason Tatum. And I'm sorry, Will, if you're taking Jason Tatum, and you can believe it's Jason Tatum. But with my whole heart, I just don't think it's Jason Tatum. I'm going Lauri Markkanen with the 3-point competition. I think he's going to win, and he's going to do something for the bigs. I believe in Lauri Markkanen in this year's 3-point competition.
I'm just gonna say Jason Tatum. Like, I don't know. I might as well.
Have to. I said Lauri Markkanen just straight up because I was gonna say Tyrese Halliburton, and then I totally forgot about Tyrese Halliburton while talking about Buddy Hield. And you reminded me of him, so I was like, okay, well now I can't say he's gonna win the 3-point contest.
Well, I don't even think Julius Randle's gonna get to double digits, to be honest.
No, I think Julius Randle might like pull like a Tiger Woods. Well, I don't know. Oh, I had him on earlier today. Tiger's in the Genesis right now, but he might pull like a classic 2021 Tiger Woods and just maybe play like half and then leave. Like he might actually leave after the third rack. He might just be done.
And not only that too, it's like remember who was it a few years back? Was it Paul George that just couldn't make a three? He got like 4. I don't know.
I feel like Tatum didn't have a good one.
No, he
too,
did well.
Right?
He
did he do it?
He made it to the final round.
It might have been Paul George.
Paul George did terrible one year. I think he only got 4. That's what I project for Julius Randle.
I have Lauri Markkanen, though. I feel like you guys are sleeping on Lauri Markkanen.
I like that pick.
I just think his shot's too low.
It's a sleeper, though. Home crowd?
Well, yeah, home crowd, but it's like one of those things where in the 3-point contest, you can't take your time on the jump shot. You have to keep shooting a minute to shoot 30 shots. So you got to shoot a shot every 2 seconds, or however. I could be completely lying with that, but and from way deep, you have like the Mountain Dew ball, whatever that's like from.
Yeah. I hate the Mountain Dew ball. That ruined the 3-point competition.
Yeah, it's not like whatever. I mean, Kevin Huerter is a low-key sleeper too. I actually I want to see his odds for that. I don't know, but
well, Kevin Huerter. Here's the thing: I was voting for him for the All-Star game for a while. Like he had the strap, but he's fallen off. Kevin Huerter fell off the past couple.
I don't think Hero's gonna make. I don't think he's gonna do anything.
Hero's a loser. You
can't. Sorry, Tyler. You can't take a floater in the 3-point competition, buddy. On a fucking poverty franchise. Dame might do fine. Damian Lillard.
Oh, Dame's probably gonna win.
Yeah.
Dude, I saw Dame last week. I'm sorry, this is like not like at all how how you used to talk on a podcast. But I saw Dame last week just randomly pull up from like half court, like LaMelo Ball high school half court, like in game, no reason, and didn't like push the ball towards the rim like he just had like his same regular form. Damian Lillard is a hero and goes underappreciated. And the Dame 4 was a great basketball shoe. Wore that for a year. I just had to say that as well. But I say real quick, I got Jericho Sims winning the dunk contest.
Give me Trey Murphy III.
Do you know who that is?
Yeah, he's on the Pelicans. I only know him because I bet the under on his points when I went to the Celtics game against the Pelicans. I think his line was at like 7.5, and I bet the under on it, and it hit. He had like 4 points.
Yeah.
And I bet the under on his threes too.
I don't know who these people are. Will, who do you have?
Mac McClung.
Yeah.
He said, I know 2 dunks that have never happened in the dunk contest. And for that reason, I don't believe him. So I'm going to take him.
I feel like Mac McClung definitely is the favorite. I haven't looked at lines yet.
There should be lines for this. There should not be lines for it. It's fucking robbery. There's no skill and there's no thought process that can go into it because these guys don't fucking dunk in the game because they don't get into games.
Yeah, like they should all be like plus like over 1,000.
Like, what am I going to go look at their high school mixtape to see if they can dunk? If you look at any NBA players' high school mixtape, they can dunk. This is stupid. This should not be the main event. I'm sorry. The main event needs to consist of stars. I do not want to hear Kenny Smith yell, "Let's go home, ladies and gentlemen," to a 2-hand rim grazer from Trey Murphy for the win.
Wait. Mac McClung is not favored.
Who is?
You will never guess. The
Kenyon
one person we didn't say. The one person we didn't say, Kenyon Martin Jr., is plus 175. Mac McClung is plus 200. Jericho Sims is plus 225. Sleeper, good value there. Trey Murphy is plus 300.
Yeah, hey, we take value plays here on Inside the Five.
Sorry that we pick for value.
Yeah. Well, technically it's all a value pick. I don't think any of these guys are going to make a dunk.
Yeah, what if they just all lose?
It's got a new prop. And like no one to make a dunk.
I have Ja Morant just like running onto the court in the middle of it and doing one dunk, and they give him the crown.
Yeah, that's what would happen. That's what should
happen.
And
I would appreciate that. That would be a lot better than watching Jericho Sims catch a lob from RJ Barrett. Like, I don't
like, you know how a lot of the time the NBA or like the cameras pan to the crowd and it's like all the stars courtside, all the celebrities like with their phones going nuts. Are you gonna go nuts for Trey Murphy? Like, no one. Who's gonna dap up Trey Murphy? Who? I'm dying to know.
Who's sitting next to him on the bench?
Like his teammates.
Yeah.
Are his teammates even gonna be there? Is there a Pelican in the All-Star game?
No.
Yeah, so no one's gonna give a fuck about him. Then you have Mac McClung. It's like, oh shit, all the kids in like the rafters or in like the balcony are gonna be recording because we watched his high school mixtape. And then Kenyon Martin Jr., what's he gonna dap up his dad? Like, no one gives a fuck about him. And Jericho Sims, the first time I realized he existed was against the Celtics when he had like 10 rebounds. Like, congrats, you have to dunk the ball in the dunk contest, asshole. You can't just grab rebounds. If there was a rebound competition, maybe I would take him.
Imagine starting at center for the New York Knicks and your current averages through halfway through the season is 3.7 points per game.
Oh, so he gets about
5 rebounds a game. That's what he's averaging 4 points a game, like 3.7 points a game. That is at most one dunk a game. He's a center. Like, what's he gonna do? He's 24 years old, first off. So like maybe he has bounce. He went to Texas and it's like, how'd you go to a Big 12 basketball school and I don't know who you are? Like, I don't know.
This competition was bad when Cole Anthony dunked in Tim's.
That was probably the lowest of lows.
Yeah.
And I love Cole Anthony, but like dunking in Tim's, like all he did was just like a dunk in Tim's.
Yeah, he literally did like a rim grazer in Tim's, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, like Tim's are heavy." Like,
yeah, but like, are they that heavy though? They're not like you can still jump. Like, why are you wearing Tim's on a basketball court?
Yeah, if he slipped, I thought it'd be funny. But let's. That's it for Saturday night. Like, that's it. This event's what going to be 40
and the best part is okay. Wait. First off, let's just say that NBA All-Star Weekend sucks because we can't even talk about the game yet. We don't know who's playing who. So like,
we had to draft our teams.
We did have to draft our own teams.
I mean, do we want to talk about that? Well, let's go right into that. I don't even know how we're going to talk about this because we don't know who's going to play on what team. That mean, like, us not knowing who's going to play on what team really does impact the odds for who's going to win All-Star Game MVP. Like
it's a live bet, essentially.
It is. And like, Griff, you said that they were drafting Sunday afternoon. They should draft All-Star Saturday night with all the players courtside. I think that would be sick. And like, if the captains handed each player their jersey and you have like 30 seconds to pick or whatever and make it like an NBA draft of some sort. Right. And I think it'd be a lot of fun and it'd give more time for the NBA to market the All-Star game.
And you know, it's funny because we come up with these ideas on the fly, right? Just like we're just like spitballing right now, and these are like good ideas, and I just don't understand. I know for a fact because in like the sport business, like there are people in the NBA front office that have better ideas than what is actually out there right now. I know that for a fact. There's just no way that there is. I don't get why it's so bad. The NFL with their Pro Bowl and all that, like it makes sense. You know, you can't play football, but you can play basketball here. You can do fun things within the game of basketball, like the skills competition, like a dunk contest, like a 3-point contest. They just aren't getting the names of the people, and they're really just overall not producing it like correctly. That's that's just like my official opinion, my official take, and I don't think we should even talk about like how we drafted them because no matter what, we're not gonna be right. Like it's gonna be a different team. So I just don't think. I mean, if we were going to draft, and they've done the draft, right? They've done it in prior years, and they just did it on a random Thursday night, maybe like the Thursday night before.
I think they would do it
All-Star break.
Yeah,
like on TNT, right? Yeah. They do it TNT like pregame.
That was a lot of fun.
That's awesome, right? But I don't get why we don't know the team at all until like they play. It just doesn't really make sense. Like, what are they gonna shoot for it?
Yeah, like who flip a coin? Well, if they shoot for it, we'll have to wait another 45 minutes to see who gets to pick first because none of those guys can hit a shot to save their life. So it won't be fun. Like that'll just be boring.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll see, right? We'll see how the game goes. The All-Star game in itself on Sunday night is honestly the make or break for the weekend, in my opinion, because we already like they said in Spider-Man, if you expect disappointment, you won't be disappointed. That's exactly how I feel for Saturday. So I feel like All-Star game Sunday night is the make or break of the weekend. If they can successfully run an All-Star game and I can enjoy 3/4 of it, I'll be very glad. But other than that,
quick, who's your All-Star game MVP, Griff?
All-Star game MVP, Luka.
Jason Tatum.
Donovan Mitchell.
All right, that's a good one. That is a good one. Starter this year. But anyways, I guess that's gonna wrap up this episode. Anybody have any final takes?
Fuck NBA All-Star. MLB All-Star Weekend takes over.
That's facts. NHL All-Star Weekend number 2. We will catch you guys at the beginning of next week. We hope you guys somehow enjoy All-Star Weekend. I'm going to go watch the rest of Tigers round with JT and Rory McIlroy. I'm going to enjoy that. Hope you guys enjoy your weekend. We'll catch you guys later, and peace.
Peace.